Hey everybody, welcome back to another news roundup. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. Excuse me for just the kind of weird week. It's just been a busy week. You know how it is. Sometimes weeks just get busier than others. So hopefully we'll be back on track and yeah, hopefully everything will be stabilized. Generally speaking, in a little bit, but we'll see what happens. Can't predict, life is life, so. But we got another news roundup for this week. Got a couple things to talk about, so we're just going to cut this intro and just dive right on in. So the first thing that we're going to discuss is something that is, I think was just released today, yeah, regarding Alec Baldwin. And of course, we're talking about the Rust trial, the imminent Rust trial for Alec Baldwin. He's been trying so hard to throw out the case. His lawyers have tried repeatedly to appeal it, and the latest attempt to appeal it, which according to Deadline, his lawyers Luke Nickas, and Alex Spiro, they struck out after arguing in a filing earlier this month that says, quote, "The law is clear. The government may not knowingly deprive the defense of potentially useful evidence by destroying it." And then the judge apparently saw it differently, saying, quote, "Ultimately, the court finds and concludes that defendant fails to establish that the state acted in bad faith when destroying certain internal components of the firearm in the course of the accidental discharge testing," she wrote in Fairleigh Dunn's 18-page order released this afternoon. The New York attorneys unsuccessfully argued that the evidence motion, as well as another failed dismissal move with special prosecutors Carrie Morseter in a virtual hearing back in June. And apparently this judge has repeatedly rebuffed dismissal attempts by the defense. So this is not the first time that this person has dismissed a couple of attempts by these lawyers. So he will be going to trial next month, and great. I am very happy about that. I am very happy that he will be facing justice in some regard. We'll see how it plays out in court. I still don't think that anything's really going to come to it, but the repeated attempts at dismissal kind of suggests that maybe there's validity to this trial in this case. I mean, it doesn't help with the whole Armor case and her being in prison now. It doesn't help him, I think, but yeah. So we are going to go to trial in July, and we'll see what happens. I'll do some reporting on that, on when that whole thing occurs. So yeah, hopefully justice will be served, because this man deserves to go to prison as well. So there you have that. All right, now getting into the news proper, basically the notes that I have. Let's get into Shrek. Shrek is coming back. Shrek 5 is on the way. Kind of already known based on, if you saw the latest Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, I believe it was called. Wasn't too crazy on it. They suggested in the film at the end that there might be another Shrek on the way. And Eddie Murphy, who is currently promoting the latest Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F., he confirmed to Collider that he's been doing voice recording sessions for Shrek 5 for a little while now, and that they are also planning to develop a Donkey spin-off film sometime in the future. And according to him, Shrek 5 is due to release sometime next year, so you will be getting Shrek again sometime in 2025. It should be noted, though, that the animation studio will not be DreamWorks. It won't be in their wheelhouse. It'll be a different studio developing the animation, because I believe it's called The Wild Robot, the one with Lupita Nyong'o, their attempt at like WALL-E or something. That's supposedly the last film that's in-house, with them proper working on the animation. Now, moving forward, it's going to be a different studio working on the animation, so just a little note there. But Shrek 5, another Shrek is back, And I've never been crazy on Shrek. I mean, I don't hate it either. It's really just it's fair. I mean, it's nothing too noteworthy. Financially, it's a different story. I think it's a great big franchise. Um, so so it's financially there's I wouldn't say there's much concern. I think this will obviously do pretty well, especially because of all the memes and stuff that's out there. I'm pretty sure you're gonna get a lot of people online talking about Shrek 5 once it is out there. I'm more concerned that it'll be more of the style of The Last Wish, being like hyper stylish and energetic, rather than being more tolerable, in my opinion. Um, but but it's expected that another one would come. I mean, this franchise has been maintaining financially speaking. It's also Hollywood, so they got to milk that cow until it don't got no more milk, So it is what it is. I don't think it's a bad move at all, but you know, I wasn't clamoring for another one, but it's to be expected when you see the numbers that franchise holds and of it just being the Hollywood system itself. So there you have that. Okay, we're gonna get into it's kind of this will be an interesting topic because we're gonna bring it up later in regards to the trailer, because the trailer came out after these photos came out. We're going to talk about Robert Zemeckis' next film, which is called Here, which is going to have Tom Hanks and Robin Wright reuniting ever since they starred together in Forrest Gump, which is my personal favorite film of all time. And Robert Zemeckis, of course, directing that film. He released a couple of photos, some first look photos of the film, revealing a de-aged Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. And upon unveiling the photos, it was revealed, plus when you watch the trailer, it suggested that the entire film will be presented through a fixed perspective, meaning the camera never moves from its position while the elements in front of it will to showcase passage of time. Now, when you watch the trailer, that's clearly not true, because there's times in the trailer where they blatantly show that footage will be piled onto the shot. So I mean, yes, the main shot doesn't change, but it's like there's still other things that are going to occupy the frame. So it's just, I don't know. It's not really a fixed perspective, really. They make it sound like we did it all in one shot, or presented it through the confines of one shot. It's like, I get it. I get the gimmick of what they're trying to do, but it's not really what's happening. So, essentially, it's a stage play. I mean, that's the way it looks. It's essentially a stage play. I mean, it's basically what they're trying to achieve. And like I said, it's basically marketing bullshit. When he says the camera doesn't move, it does move. It does. Here's the thing, though. De-aging technology has always been a question mark for me. I've never bought the look that is given, nor can I ever accept its designs. It's an uncanny valley with this technology. Like, I'll always reject it in my mind because it can't never convince me. And it sounds like Zemeckis is going for, technically speaking, his swing at The Irishman, telling like a decades-long story with this technology at the center of it. And based on the photos, just speaking squarely on the photos, it's a mixed bag. I mean, especially when you look at Robin Wright, I can immediately know that it's AI work, and I know that there is apparently AI integrations into this film, and you can really tell on Robin Wright's face that there is AI stuff going on, especially on the eyes. They just look so dead. Tom Hanks looks okay, like a little bit better, but not great. Here's the thing. I'm not against de-aging technology. I'm not against that form of technology, as it's just a form of makeup, essentially. What I'm against is integrating AI technology, which I believe the film, I know that the film does to some extent. But I'll never buy de-aging either. Like, the texturing can never become authentic enough for me to accept it. And the difference, just to illustrate, the difference between de-aging and AI is that de-aging is utilized in the manner of makeup, whereas AI is utilized in the manner of replication, using the likeness of a performer and not at any point having the performer participate to give the model any life or sentience. One's a robot, one's a human, essentially. And that's what these photos kind of are trying to do, is to have a hybrid between a mechanical tech and something that can potentially that is integrating within humane, as occupying a humane's canvas or something like that. Like the aging technology relies upon the motion of the face still. The AI stuff doesn't really, So I don't know. It's just this weird hybrid between AI and de-aging, and it doesn't look good to me. Again, talking squarely about the photos right now. We'll get into the trailer in a second, but yeah, based on the photos, so that's just my thoughts on the photos. We'll get into the trailer in a second, but yeah, photo-wise, not looking too good. So. All right, and following up from that, another thing that came out today, actually, just to plug it in here somewhere, Warner Brothers has announced a couple of release dates for a few things here and there, specifically 2 films from Legendary Pictures. It seems that Denis Villeneuve has a film coming out in December 18th, 2026. No word on what that film is yet, whether that being Dune 3 or supposedly this adaptation of a book called Nuclear War, A Scenario. So not entirely sure, probably Nuclear War, because I don't know if they want the turnaround to be so quick for Dune 3, but who knows. And the next MonsterVerse film is scheduled to be coming out on March 26, 2027. So I'm a little surprised on that. I thought that would be coming out 2 years later, not 3 years later. So because I thought that they would want to capitalize on the success of Godzilla x Kong. But I guess not. So, because we know that that's the one that they just talked about with whoever's directing it now, so that's the film that's going to be coming out in 2027. So, yeah. Like I said before, I don't care for Dune, but I would be interested in the nuclear war thing, whatever that is. So, but yeah. Some films are coming out, and I'm curious about what the Denis Villeneuve film is. I'm pretty sure. I mean, if it's, sources are saying that it's going to be Dune 3. That doesn't sound great. I would think that you would need a little more time for that, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe I would like to see the nuclear war one before he tackles Dune again, but we shall see. All right, let's get into a couple of trailers for this week. We have a couple of trailers actually that came out. So we're gonna start off with the big one, obviously. Let's talk about Nosferatu for a second. So we talked about this film, I think, a while ago. I think I could be wrong, but Nosferatu is coming back. I believe the last time Nosferatu had a adaptation was in the 70s or the 80s, around that time. Being written and directed by Robert Eggers, who of course has given us The Witch, The Lighthouse, and most recently The Northman. This has a interesting cast assembled. We got Lily Rose Depp, Bill Skarsgård, who will be playing Nosferatu himself, Willem Dafoe, and Nicholas Hoult. And it has a release date for December 25th, 2024, Christmas Day. And, well, it's got the details that you come to expect in Robert Eggers, mainly in its dialogue to represent the setting. But I fear it's more concerned with style than with substance. Like, this impending doom that's being established, while it's kind of neat, doesn't really make it that scary. And what makes Eggers' filmmaking more fearful is his concern for psychology in his characters, not the literal activity of them, right? It's why I think The Lighthouse works so well, because it has a lot more the reason of why you're more uneasy is because of the uncertainty of what's happening on the inside of Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe's characters, and not the literal activity of what they're doing. To some extent, for the exaggerative stuff, sure, but primarily it's about the uncertainty of their psychology at the present moments of when you're seeing them. It's more about what's going on in their mind, how they descend from within. Generally speaking, with Eggers' filmmaking, it's the same sentiments you can give with The Witch. The Northman kind of being an outsider to that style, and I think kind of lessened by that. And this film, Nosferatu, it looks to explore those same ideas under the skies of possession, it seems. At least that's the idea now. There seems to be possession involved, which I don't recall in the original Nosferatu, but I'm more, as it appears to be with the film itself, I'm more attracted by what's in the frame, not much with its gothic tone. I'm definitely interested, just generally speaking, to see it because it's Robert Eggers, and it frankly has potential from what I saw. I mean, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just have some trepidations. I want more of the Lighthouse than the Northman, and I'm worried it's more of the latter than the former. Because it definitely has a bigger budget attached to it. You can obviously tell that it has more money than I think any of Robert Eggers' films. Because Eggers' work is better with restraint, not with more room to play, if you were to ask me. So I'm a bit cautious about it, but I will be checking it out. I'm definitely curious to see how he chooses to adapt this story. And also on a personal note, it's blasphemy to probably say, but it's just how I feel. I think the original Nosferatu is very overrated. Nothing that special, if you ask me. It's just, it's not that great. So, that's just my opinion on it, but it doesn't have much of a legacy to live up to, if you ask me, but hopefully it's good. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully it's more of the Lighthouse than the Northman, but I fear that we're probably going to get more of the Northman, especially because this has probably potentially a higher budget attached to it. So, but we'll see what happens. We shall see. Okay, now let's talk about here once again. Now we're talking about the trailer. Now we're seeing the photos in motion, and well, it's quite distracting. It is quite distracting seeing it play out in motion, because it's very apparent when you now watch it in motion that it is a mixture between AI and de-aging mechanics, and it just doesn't look that well integrated at all. And once again, the definition of uncanny valley. The frame of Robin Wright when she gets closer when she gets closer in the frame, I immediately rejected it. And judging by the narrative, it appears to be more mechanical and stagey than cinematic. It also highly unnecessary because, I mean, if the Odyssey, because it's meant to showcase this one location throughout time, if the Odyssey comes to a screeching halt once we come to Tom Hanks and Robin Wright's story, why not just make it about them? I mean, it makes me seeing dinosaurs or what have you rather pointless if that journey stops very early on. A great example of this kind of concept executed, a great example of this concept executed well, is a film called The House, it's on Netflix. It's a collection of shorts that all centralize their individual ideas within this one home, and time passes as well within this. It's pretty good. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. This appears to be more of modern Zemeckis than old school Zemeckis, more Polar Express than Forrest Gump. And I'm not really a fan of the new Zemeckis. He's more interested to dissect. It's more interesting as the viewer to dissect the VFX and where they're being used. My guess is that the set is using VFX to some extent with some real elements here and there. I mean, the general set seems legit, but I just feel like there's some virtual creations in the construction of the room. And I don't think it has to do with like the lenses or the angle. I just think that some of it has. I just believe that some of it's VFX because it's Zemeckis. I mean, this film is using AI, de-aging, animations, and general VFX. So what are the chances that a single frame of this is going to be like 100% live action? 100% is actually in the frame. I highly doubt that. So, and I just find that an issue with Zemeckis. A lot of his times I just feel like animation or VFX is not really required or is rather distracting in his filmmaking. So, because of his concern for just VFX. And I think he went on record saying that he's like, well, people call me the VFX guy. It's like, because that's pretty much what you are offering in your films as of late. And this is no exception to that. So, I mean, it's nice to see Tom Hanks and Robin Wright together again, but I mean, I just wish it was under a better film. So, yeah. So I'm not really crazy about it. It seems very gimmicky, if you ask me. So. All right, now let's talk about a trailer called Red One. Now, I didn't care to watch this, but I saw a frame of it on my newsfeed. I saw like killer snowmen, so I was like, okay, I kind of want to see what is going on here. And, well, it looks pretty dumb. This stars Dwayne Johnson, Chris Evans, J.K. Simmons, and Lucy Liu. And it's being directed by Jake Kasdan, who's the guy who gave us the new Jumanji films. Has a release date for November 15th, 2024, only in theaters. Yeah, this looks pretty dumb. To put it in perspective for you, I was more shocked than anything by just how stupid this looks. And this apparently costs $250 million. I'm not joking. Like, you can look it up. This apparently cost $250 million. Yeah. I'm just going to say it. This is going to be dead on arrival. Because, I mean, you might get a few people out there who's going to see this, but this is not going to be an inside-out situation. It's just not going to be that. It's so nonsensical. It's not even the quality of a guilty pleasure in my book. Like, you have to really be drunk to find fun in this. It just looks so dumb. And frankly, it just looks bad. This is allegedly the film where Dwayne Johnson was being a pain in the ass to work with also. Maybe he realized how shitty this is shaping up. I don't know. But it just looks bad. And I mean, I'm going to take a wild guess, like Lucy Liu's the villain, right? I mean, if they're kind of clever, maybe Thanksgiving, like the holiday season, trying to like kidnap another holiday season. I don't know, but I mean, better yet, why would any holiday season think of kidnapping Santa? They have their own fucking months to celebrate in, so it's like, fuck off. Like, why would you want to go take over my holiday? I don't know. It seems Christmas oriented, but I swear I saw like a pumpkin in there, so it seems like there's going to be other elements that are in play. So, yeah. And why put this out in November? Like, put this out on Christmas. If it's supposed to be a Christmas film, then put it out on Christmas, But, yeah, it doesn't look great. Like, yeah, it really doesn't look great. So. And the last trailer that we're going to discuss for today is a film called Flight Risk. This is being directed by Mel Gibson, guy who gave us Hacksaw Ridge, as well as most notably Braveheart. This stars Mark Wahlberg as a pilot, and he's apparently a psychopath, as the music tells you from the trailer. Also has Topher Grace and Michelle Dockery. And yeah, this looks very uninspired. Quite a spoilery trailer as well. So if you don't want to know anything about Flight Risk, I would recommend not watching the trailer if you haven't already. Other than the fact that Mark Wahlberg is attempting to go against hype again, there's nothing special here. It looks like anyone could have directed this. Anyone could have acted in it. There's nothing distinct in personality or character. It's just a textbook thriller with a very noticeable bald cap on Mark Wahlberg. I mean, seriously. If I freeze frame it, if I just show you this frame here, whatever you're seeing on screen right now, yeah, that you can see the line of where the bald cap starts and where his forehead begins, you know? It's just, yeah, it looks uninspired, really uninspired. So it's a little surprising to hear the name Mel Gibson's attached to it, you know. But I'm not familiar with Mel Gibson as a director. I've seen Hacksaw Ridge maybe once, and I didn't really care about it. I never saw Braveheart, so I'm not familiar with how his style of a filmmaker is. But it's like, you could have told me any name, and I probably would have like been okay, you know. So yeah, just looks very, very throwaway, if you ask me. So yeah, so those are my thoughts this week on all these little news bits. You guys let me know your thoughts on all these news bits regarding Shrek, Nosferatu, all those other trailers that we discussed. The red one, oh my god, that one looks bad. Your thoughts on Alec Baldwin's trial, the impending trial that's happening. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.